and we are live on YouTube. أيوة. Hello, everybody. Here we are. This is Live with Roxanne, and we are here live on YouTube, on Facebook, on all of the wonderful social media outlets. Oh, we have a baby with us. Oh, no, don't worry. Mine will probably come through here at any moment as well.
Yeah, like he knew.
So, I'm Roxanne Shellaby. This is Live with Roxanne, number 2, and we are featuring our dancers of Manat heritage. And for those of you who don't know what Manat stands for, it's an acronym for Middle East, North Africa. The H is for Hellas or Greece, and the T for Turkey. And so we are here tonight with the lovely and amazing, force of nature, Zara Abdurrahman, direct from Cairo. Welcome, Zara.
Ahlan sahlan, marhaba. Hello, how are you, Roxanne? I'm very honored.
I'm honored because it's so great and you're doing such amazing things. I am so excited to be talking to you, and I know that everyone else is excited as well, because I've been getting lots of messages of like, oh my God, we can't wait to see what happens.
Oh.
And I see Asli is here with us. Welcome, Asli. And if you guys have questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat and we'll be happy to address them.
Yes.
So feel free to, blow up the chat.
Please.
Whatever you want to say, right?
Yeah, and please, people, feel free to ask anything. I'm here to have my mind picked or, or anything, I'm very open to talk.
And, we're on Arabic time, so we'll be here all night. We don't care, it's right.
Exactly. I'm very easygoing. I'm here to talk as long as you would like.
Wonderful, wonderful. And, it's important for people to know that it's 6 p.m. here on the West Coast. It's 3 a.m. Friday morning in Cairo. And a lot of people were like, see, I told you. There
yeah. I like this. What's his name?
That was Milo.
Milo.
He's my baby. He's got to be, on me at all times. So many of you probably like 3 a.m. in Cairo. Why would you be having an interview at that time? And I'm sure you could probably tell everybody that this is like peak time in Cairo, right?
It used to be before Corona. This would be very normal. Nowadays, it's very strange. I don't even recognize the country I'm living in. And at the moment, everything has to shut at 9. A lot of the back streets will exactly, it's so crazy. 9 p.m., everything has to close. Apart from supermarkets and those little supermarkets you get around Egypt and pharmacies. The back streets stay open illegally up until, but they still close quite early, around 12. And I walk around Cairo at 1 a.m. and it's like a ghost town, which it never used to be. I used to work in clubs up until 6 a.m. in the morning. And if I finished early, I would finish something like 1 a.m. and I would go and meet friends at 1 a.m. and I would go out to party until 6 a.m. and that was my life. Nowadays, it's a bit strange, but yes, traditionally Egypt is on this kind of like nightlife. It has a very buzzy, and this is every day of the week. This used to be every day of the week. I could easily work until 5 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through to the weekend. Um, it's changed since Corona, but I hope, inshallah, it will come back to how it used to be. I like it. And regardless of me not working, I work until 9 a.m. now, 9 p.m. now. So regardless of this, it's been nearly 2 years that the discos and cabarets have been closed in Egypt. But despite this, I still can't shake this belly dance timing, and I myself don't sleep until after Fajr, so which is after sunrise. I usually sleep just after Fajr.
Yeah, it's easy to do. The several times I've been to Cairo, it's like you don't go to. I mean, we never leave the house until after 9 o'clock, so I can't imagine what it must be like.
It's too hot.
Yeah,
It's too hot. I mean, there are rumors that they are trying to use Corona as an excuse to retrain Egyptians, sorry, to be more like Europeans, and for shops to close at, yeah.
good luck with
And
that.
because, you know, yeah, good luck with that. But I don't think they realize it's not because Egyptians are wild, crazy people. It's not about that. It's about practicality of where you live. Egypt is too hot to have socializing in the daytime most of the year.
Yes.
That's why Egyptians run on the evening, is because it's cool, it's beautiful temperature. I have my fan on, it's 3 a.m. and I'm actually very hot. Why did I get a jumper on? It's,
And it's
but
only
it's, you know,
May, I can imagine, or I know
well,
the few times I've been has always been in July, and it's like you want to die. It's so hot during the day. Like there's just no way. And so,
no, we aren't night owls because we're like crazy wild people. It's just that's the best time in Egypt to go out because it's such a beautiful temperature.
yeah, I remember the first time I went to Cairo in 1992, probably before you were born, I'm guessing. Um, we were driving through downtown, like near the Khan Khalili, and I was like, what are all it was, midnight. What are all those people doing? Is there like a party or a festival? And I was with Sahra, and she's like, no, they're just shopping. And I was
Yeah,
like, what? Oh, and then, once you're there for a couple days, you realize why people are shopping at midnight because it's too hot during the day. And so now that we've talked all about Cairo weather, and of course we're hoping that Corona is under control there soon, and that you're back to work soon, work regular work, and we all want to go to Cairo. We're itching to get back to the festivals, the
please do
shows.
come. Everybody that's watching, you're all very welcome. When the world opens up, please come to Cairo, come to Egypt. I'd love to meet all of you. I'd love to see lots of the Bay Dance community coming back. We miss you all, so
Yes, I'll be there. Trust me.
definitely put it on your list as the first thing to do.
Come on, everybody. Let's go back when things are safe and support our fellow Egyptians and our fellow Egyptian artists. And we're going to jump in to some questions. And later on, you're going to talk about, because one of the things that you are doing is that you're putting on online shows featuring Egyptian artists. And so we will talk
Yes.
more about that. And it's a really wonderful thing that you're doing. But first, tell us, please, who is Zara Abdulrahman? Who are you? Where were you born? Tell us about how you started dancing. We want to know everything.
So, ahlan sahlan. Hello, I'm Zara Dance. I'm half Egyptian, half British, English. I was born in England, but I spent vast amounts of my childhood in Egypt. I would come every summer. And also at 6 years old, my mum and dad packed me off to Egypt. They stayed in England. I flew to Egypt by myself at 6 years old. And I came to live with my aunties and uncles at 6 years old here by myself, or with my aunts and uncles for a year. I also lived here for a year with my mum at the age of like 9. So I've had a lot of my childhood in Egypt, even though I was born in England. I had lots of my childhood. Unfortunately, at the age of around 10, my mum and dad got divorced. My mum is English, my father is Egyptian. My mum and dad got divorced. It was a very messy divorce. It took 5 years for them to get divorced. In those 5 years, from 10 to 15, I didn't come to Egypt. I then came back to Egypt at 15 years old and a woman, not a child.
Yeah.
And of course, there's always been some kind of divide between me, not a divide, I've always been the foreign cousin, even when I was living here and stuff, the foreign cousin, because I'm, live in England and mixed race. But having been away for 5 years, my Arabic was a bit broken. And I couldn't dance. I couldn't belly dance. All my cousins, females, could belly dance. I couldn't. And I went home and I cried to my mother, my British mother. I said to my mum, I can't dance. After 5 years not seeing my family, they're all dancing. I can't belly dance like them. It was, and my mum bought me a VCR of how to belly dance to try and help me connect to my Egyptian culture. I'm very lucky my mum, despite divorce, my father has always encouraged me and my Egyptian heritage. And since 15, I've come back to Egypt every year, regardless. And I learned how to belly dance as a way to connect to my Egyptian heritage and to my Egyptian family. And since 15, I just felt completely addicted to belly dance. And it's helped me communicate with my Egyptian family. It helped me learn about culture a lot. And yeah, so that was how I started belly dancing, ironically, and by a VCR in the UK. But
that's hilarious. So you really are,
yeah, and then
cultural.
Yeah, and then when I studied at university for over 10 years of physics, and when I finished my PhD, I decided to dedicate myself to belly dance. Even though I'd been belly dancing throughout my whole PhD, but I just thought it's now or never. And also, when I finished my PhD, I didn't come back to Egypt. I came to Egypt to live, but it wasn't originally to be a belly dancer. It was to learn Arabic better, because my Arabic has always been a little bit broken. Despite childhood, it's always been a little bit broken. And I don't know if you know this, Roxxanne, you try to claim your heritage, and if your language is broken, they're like, well, you're not Egyptian, you're not this. They will make comments, and it's always hurt me when you're multicultural or mixed race background. It can be very hard to fit in. And one of the things that I found was because my Arabic was broken, I'm very often denied my heritage by people. You're not Egyptian. And it's ironic because people that say that don't believe me, but my English family, I have quite a big extended English family. A lot of them are like, oh, she's a foreign Arab, And when I'm in England and people say to me, you don't look English. And when you're in Egypt, they're like, you don't look Egyptian. You don't look English. You look Turkish. And then in Egypt, they're like, you don't look Egyptian. You look this. And it really is very upsetting. But now, yeah, go on. Do you have a question?
No, I was going to say that I live that same issue. I'm half Lebanese and half Brazilian.
Yes.
And people are like, you don't look Lebanese, or you don't look Brazilian. The Lebanese are like, you don't look Lebanese. And it's like, just accept me. It's okay. So I totally can relate to you. Continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Or were you ready?
Yeah, no, that's fine. And then, no, but I came to Egypt to learn, but I realized quite quickly that no matter where I am, I moved to Egypt to just learn Arabic, but no matter where I am, I'm a belly dancer, and I had to belly dance, and it just naturally found me, and the route was put in front of me, and I thought, why not? I spent 10 years doing physics, might as well spend the next 10 years doing a bit of belly dance. So
you can always go back.
Yeah, and that's how I've come, and now I've been in Egypt now. Time is going so fast. I think it's 4 years, maybe even more. I've been here as a professional dancer, living only on my dance income or dance activities for the past 4 years, probably longer.
I have so many questions. So first, how did you make that transition? So you started studying some belly dancing in England, with a video. Do you remember who that video was? Do you remember who the teacher
Yes,
was?
I do. It's Hilary Thacker, a Scottish belly dancer who I've never met. But
Whoa.
if Hilary Thacker is out there, it was Hilary Thacker. She was a Scottish belly dancer. It was a VCR. And actually, it was a very good VCR, actually. It was beginner belly dance, and I liked the way she taught it. I thought she was a good teacher, you know. And yeah, so thank you, Hilary Thacker, out there. I then went to I found a local belly dance class quite quickly afterwards, and it was taught by a woman called Teresa Hardy, who was a British belly dancer, but she had a very Fifi Abdul style, and I was very lucky that despite her being British, she was very Egyptian, and she would come to Egypt a lot. So I was very lucky that my British teacher, Teresa Hardy, my first British teacher, was very Egyptian in essence and was danced very much like Fifi Abdul. And so I was very lucky in that. So my first teachers were British, you know.
That's interesting.
From England. But yeah.
And then so how did you make the transition to becoming a professional dancer? Were you a professional dancer in England before you moved to Cairo?
I became a professional dancer pretty fast after beginning belly dance, probably before I was ready to. I learned on the go. I was a professional belly dancer. I started these belly dance classes. You know, I taught myself on the video for about a year. Then I found classes. I was about 16, 17. And I remember what happened actually. Very interesting. My one of the people in my belly dance class, Teresa Hardy, said, "Oh, there's this belly dance festival," and you used to find out by getting newsletters sent to you. There wasn't this thing called, you know, Facebook or the internet, or well, there was the internet, but you wouldn't advertise festivals on this. It was advertising. You had to fill out a form to go to the festival and post it off, and I don't even know. Anyway, my friend in this class said, "I found out about this belly dance festival. Do you want to come with me?" And I went to this belly dance festival. I didn't know there was so many belly dancers in England. I went to this belly dance festival, and there was this costume on sale, and it was a lot of money. So my English and my Egyptian family are both shabby. I think my internet's coming. Are both working class. So we weren't very rich, and my mum had just gone through a very messy divorce and was living very poorly, very poorly. Very, very, you know, on a very tight budget. And I remember seeing this belly dance costume and I fell in love with it. It was a dress, and I still own it till today. I still own it till today. I will never, and it's still beautiful, and I still wear it till today. It's very beautiful. And it was something like £250, which was a lot of money. And I begged my mum to buy it for me. And she bought it for me. And she said to me, Zara, and it was a big thing. We had to discuss it. We went outside. We had to, you know, think about it before we went to the bank to get the money out. And I was like, no, but I need it. I just felt like I needed it. And my mum bought it for me, and she says, if I buy this for you, you better make something out of this belly dance, Zara. You know, you're not going to give it up, or this is like a day hobby or something. And she bought it for me, and yeah, that kind of drove me, and I started belly dancing in restaurants when I went to university. A lot of people say to me, why did you leave physics, 10 years of physics, you're a doctor of physics, and you've just left to become a belly dancer? And I always remind them that I am only a belly dancer, only a physicist because of belly dance, because I came from a very working class family. I did not have the finances to take myself through university. I worked every Friday and Saturday throughout my university degrees, and that money supported me. I remember once for my PhD, about 3 months before I was due to write my thesis, my laptop broke, and I needed a new laptop, and I had no money. I had no money at all. And I called all my belly dance friends and I said, girls, I need some work. I'm really skint. Can I have, I need some extra work. I was working anyway, but I need some extra work. And within 1 weekend, I had made enough money, and I bought myself a really good laptop, and I wrote my thesis for my PhD on this laptop that I made in 1 weekend of belly dance work, from calling all my belly dance friends. They all gave me their, and I had that. But it was not the 10 years. I started belly dancing in a restaurant. The first restaurant I worked in was in Oxford. I was at Oxford University. It was my undergraduate degree. I think I've lost you. Tell me if I've lost you.
You're frozen, but I can hear you.
I hope you guys can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, guys, sorry. The internet is not so stable in Cairo, so let me just send her a little message here. I don't know if she'll hear me. Oh my God, it's getting so exciting and I want to hear more. And if she needs to, she's probably going to pop out and pop back in. And so, oh, there you are. You're muted. Unmute yourself. There you go. Sorry,
I
everybody.
don't know what happened. Are we still live?
We're still live and we're good. We're good.
And I think I was just telling you the end of the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 10 years I worked in restaurant. The first restaurant I ever worked in was in Oxford. I was at Oxford University and I worked in a little restaurant. Can't remember what it's called, Taboosh or something like this. And I worked in it in Oxford city town, and it was when I was 18 and I started to do it to make money whilst I was at university, very poor. So yeah, all my degrees stand on the shoulders of belly dance.
You know, that's such a beautiful way to say that. And, you know, we really do have a wonderful community. And there is, you know, there is a certain amount
Oh,
of
my internet's so
sisterhood.
bad.
Yeah. And, you know, and everybody out there, if you think that Zara is the only PhD educated belly dancer, you know, it's amazing that you have a PhD in physics. And guess what? There's a whole bunch of other, you know, belly dancers out there who are educated women and doing amazing things in their lives, and they love belly dancing. And those two things can coexist. So I just thought I would mention that. And how wonderful that you're. Go ahead.
I found through my career that belly dance is an art that attracts very intelligent women in general.
Absolutely. Eccentric.
I mean, it's
and
something,
intelligent.
there's something about it that, you know, I find every belly dancer that I met is very intelligent woman.
Yes, and you know, it made me just think of, do you think that also belly dancing helps these eccentric and intelligent women become empowered? I think it does.
Yes. I teach a workshop. You can buy it on my website called Belly Dance Empowerment. And I talked about this really interesting dynamic. To become a better belly dancer, you need to be empowered. But to be, you know, it's like a two-way thing. But to be empowered, you need to, it's like, the more you become empowered, the better belly dancer you are. The better belly dancer you are, the more the dance empowers you. And it's this really interesting. Oh, I hope you can hear me. My internet is so bad.
No, you're good. You're good. We can hear you.
I don't know why it's so bad.
Because you're being interviewed.
Never this bad. My internet is never this bad.
Well, you're frozen, but I can.
My internet is never this bad. Oh, I'm so sad.
Don't. Maybe it'll come back in just. We'll keep talking. It's okay. It is hilarious though, the position that you're frozen in. So I'm really sorry about that. But if you want, I don't know if you want to log out and log back in. Maybe there she is. There you are. You're muted.
My internet is never this bad. I think they must be doing over the night. They must be doing some work. I'm going to just try and sign in on my phone. It should only take a second, because my mobile internet might be better. But I was saying, you know, the more empowered you are as a woman, the better belly dancer you are. The better belly dancer you are, the more you get from the dance, and the more that it empowers you. And it's really interesting. I talk about this dynamic in my belly dance empowerment workshop, which I really recommend. It's like a really exciting workshop, because I think the most exciting thing about belly dance isn't the technique, it's everything behind the technique. Like, the technique is just a tiny touch of it. Things that I love exploring about belly dance is the feeling, the meaning, the purpose, the expression, the mindset. This is what is so exciting about belly dance. More so than any activity.
And you know, the funny thing is, you do so much. And if you guys ever go to her Facebook or Instagram or her website, she has so many events. I forgot about the empowerment workshop that you do, and we just happened to follow up on the subject. So I love it. I love it. I want to know, so how did you, so you got your PhD at Oxford. You go back and forth between Egypt and
I had my undergraduate degree. I got my PhD from Imperial.
From where? I didn't hear you.
My PhD is from Imperial University. I did my master's and my PhD at Imperial College, which is, yeah.
And then how did you end? So you went to Egypt, to Cairo, to live there to improve your Arabic, and you had already been a professional dancer. And then, so did you just start belly dancing while you were in Cairo, or what? How was that transition?
Like I said, belly dance, you can't escape it. I mean, I was there. I dreamt about it. I thought about it. I wished it. I never, ever, ever, ever believed that I was good enough or beautiful enough or talented enough or individual enough to be a belly dancer in Egypt at all. When I went out, I thought it was like a fantasy dream. Actually, when I first came out to Egypt and I was learning Arabic, I thought maybe I could join a folkloric troupe, because I never thought I was good enough. Most of it came from insecurities about my looks. A lot of belly dancers are very, 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 very beautiful, and they have certain looks. And I never thought I had a lot of self-doubt and a lot of body image issues. I mean, I still deal with them today, but I don't let them hold me back.
Good.
There's a difference.
Good.
So the dream was there, definitely, but the belief that I could do it wasn't there. Anyway, long story short, I kind of got introduced to somebody and they're like, well, do you want to come and work on a boat? And I was like, okay, I'll do this gig. They liked me. They thought I was good with the audience. They thought I had good skills on the stage. And I just ended up falling into it. And then one thing led to another. And I became, and I mothballed into working here and realizing, if I make my own niche for what I am as a belly dancer, define myself for myself, but not to say that I haven't experienced extreme criticism for how I look, extreme advice from people that I should have plastic surgery, lots of plastic surgery, and not to say there's anything wrong with plastic surgery. A lot of belly dancers have it, but it was never what I wanted for myself. And I've been criticised for it, and not to say that there's gigs that don't want me, etc. But I managed to make my way. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you are strong enough in yourself to not cave to that pressure. And that you, like you said, you found your niche, because so many people, everybody's trying to copy each other.
I realized
the other one, it's like you got to be yourself. And I love that.
I was quite fortunate / unfortunate that I had quite a good, a friend of mine that was working here previously before me as a belly dancer. And we unfortunately don't talk so much right now, but I had seen her. She had chosen to do a lot of things. She had chosen to change how she looked, how she danced, how she did everything. And I realized that if you start to change, if you start to, and I realized by watching her, because she was so perfect when she went out, she didn't need to change anything. She was actually my idol in life, one of my idols. So I realized you can either choose to listen to people and change, and you're never going to stop getting advice and people making comments, and there will never be an end to it. There will never be. Everybody's so willing to give you their opinion, especially to the belly dance. And if you listen, that's a never-ending line. And also, perfection is a never-ending race. There is never a finish line of perfection. And the more you chase perfection, you'll never get there. And if you don't define yourself for yourself, you will get crushed into people's fantasies of you. And you will lose your own identity. And I realized by watching not just my friend, but other dancers that had come to Egypt, and I realized they just got crushed and molded into something that actually wasn't them. And I made it wasn't a stand, but I realized that, you know, I do take advice. Some of my managers said, do this, do that, change this about yourself, and I don't doubt that if I lost a lot more weight and I had a nose job and I had a boob job, I probably would have a few more gigs. But is it worth losing your identity over? And also, I like to think that I have my brand as myself, and I've managed over the years now to build my own brand as Zara, and now people employ me because of how I am. So, I think stay true to your brand and who you are, because also you can get lost in this ether of being a clone of other dancers. Sometimes I watch belly dancers online. I don't know which dancer it is. I'm like, is that blah blah blah, or is that blah blah blah? And you have to concentrate because they dance the same, they look the same, and I'm like, I can't remember which dance.
Yeah.
You have this, and you're like,
oh yeah,
and they're beautiful, mashallah, talented, but I don't know which one it is. And I think one of the things that's amazing about Egypt is, yes, the industry will try and crush you into this, but what they really like is the dancer that's very different and has her own taste. And if you think about every famous belly dancer that has ever been in Egypt, yes, every famous belly dancer in Egypt, they did not dance like each other at all. There is not even one move I know that Fifi Abdul did that Suher Zaki did. It's not even technicality, stage presence. How Fifi entered the stage was so different to how Tahari Karaoke would enter. How Samia Gamal would enter was so different to how Dina enters. They had no similarities. Actually, even their moves, how Suher Zaki does an 8 compared to how somebody else does an 8, they're so different technically, personality, presentation wise, costume styling. It's actually, it's hard to find anything where they are alike. But now I see clone dancers. I see hundreds of them. I see them all doing the same shimmy. I see them all doing the same hair move, the same this move. I see clones. And you can get to a certain level by being a clone, but you will never be a legend as a clone. And I'm not aiming for legend, but, in my little bubble, at least I don't get be called a clone.
Oh no, I think you're going to have your own legacy, and you've already established that, and you do have your own brand, and you are different than anyone else. And I love that. And you're so right. I tell people that all the time. I tell dancers that all the time. Like, I remember when Dina first started, I happened to be in Egypt again in 1992, a million years ago. And she became famous because she was different than everybody else. Her costumes were different, the way she moved was different. And then everybody copies Dina. It's like, especially now with YouTube, like, why am I going to watch you or someone trying to pretend to be Dina when I could just watch Dina?
Oh.
Why is someone going to hire you to perform in a show when they can hire the other person that you're dancing just like her? Like, dancing is about telling your story, about being yourself. And if you're being a clone, I don't know, to me, there's no point. So I'm glad that we are like on the same wavelength there. And the one other thing I wanted to mention is that I also see a lot with you were talking about the plastic surgery and the criticism and the dancers trying to be perfect, is that it ends up crushing the dancer's spirit. And then, so the whole reason you became a dancer because you love the dance, and that whole thing just like makes you not love the dance anymore. So I don't know. I hope that dancers are listening to this and learning and not falling into that trap. And I'm glad that you didn't as well.
I just want to clarify, if a dancer chooses to have any surgery, I'm not against plastic surgery. You know, I haven't personally done it, but I have my eyebrows tattooed. I have hair extensions. Not everything about me is real. We all have our own lines, but you got to make sure that you define where that line is for yourself. So my line is, I have had teeth work done, I've had eyebrows done, and I've had my hair extensions. But another line isn't for me. I mean, it doesn't say in the future I might not do it, or so, but you've got to realize, is that line something that I have chosen for myself, or that I have been pressured into? And there are some dancers who have gone and had, but they wanted that surgery anyway, or they wanted this anyway, and that's what they like about it anyway, and they like that. And that's very different. And there's some people that have had it and so happy they did it, and I'm happy for them. I just want people to know there's, you know, and I have stuff that's fake about me, as I said, but it's about defining that for yourself and finding your own line and not crushing. Okay, there's taking advice. I take advice and I take criticism. And as I said, I've changed a few things, you know, but drawing your own line, drawing your own boundaries. Very hard to do, and I still doubt myself to today.
Yeah. And who do you listen to? Do you know what I mean? You can't listen to everybody's critique. Like, you have the people you trust and that you know that they're coming from a good place. And you know, sometimes that criticism is hard, but you know, you trust them. You can't take everybody's criticism. I think you have a very good point about that. Now I'm going to ask you something a little even deeper than that. How did your family, especially your Egyptian family, take your being a professional dancer in Cairo? How did that go?
Very, very badly.
Yeah.
No, so my family had very badly, basically. Not very well. I hope my internet's okay. I apologize to everybody. My internet is usually Mayor for Mayor. It's usually really good, but it's a bit dodgy right now. But
Good.
so my father found out I was belly dancing when I was at university in England. Unfortunately, my family found some things on Facebook. It's very hard to hide nowadays. And on a holiday when my father and I both went to Egypt, we don't see each other much in England, but when we did see each other, we'd come to Egypt together. My father still lives in England. This is when I was about 18, 19. When my father found out, my Egyptian family found out, my Egyptian family confronted my father had to confront me. We got, unfortunately, into a massive altercation. I don't even know what the word is. Fight, physical fight. My father beat me, basically, because I was a belly dancer. My father beat me and threw my head through a window. And unfortunately, I suffered very, 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 very bad brain damage as a result. Not brain damage. I had bleeding on my brain, unfortunately, as a result. And I suffered quite badly. For a long time, I had to take medication to control seizures. So my dad took it very badly. I was put into hospital as a result of it. And actually, quite bad things happened as a result of these seizures that I got afterwards. And I have quite bad burns on my body because I had a seizure whilst holding a kettle once, and I burnt my whole leg. And one of the things when I said moving to Egypt, I never believed that I could be a belly dancer. One of the things that really intimidated me was that I have quite bad burns on my body, and I've had to deal with going out and being a belly dancer despite having quite bad burns on my body and things like this. So, you know, it was quite bad. And my father still doesn't accept it now, but he accepts it, if that makes sense. My Egyptian family, it's something that everybody knows, but nobody quite talks about. It's there, it's like the elephant in the room. It's sad because I tried to learn belly dance. If you go back to my original story, I tried to learn belly dance to become closer to my Egyptian family. I wanted to be more accepted. I wanted to be this, and it definitely helped. And it definitely helped because I spent even more time coming to Egypt, and I loved Egypt, and I got addicted, and now I know all the songs more and all the music more, and I'm very attached. I'm so indulged, and it was a big, massive group, and has really. I love all my cousins and us so close, but at the same time, it's also kind of made a like a distance at the same time. Now, there are a couple of cousins that know everything and are very easygoing about it, alhamdulillah, and there are a couple are not. But what I realized is, again, talking about identity and crushing yourself into ideals of what other people want you, you come to a time in your life where you have to choose, you know, I try to be this cousin that you accept and hide this, but I can't hide it anymore. This is who I am. You know, there's a point in life where you're like, either you have to be the person, either you have to be the person that you are, or the world wants you to be. And if you you have to choose. And unfortunately, I can't be that person that my father would love me to be, because that's not me. And I could pretend to live a lie, but I can't do it. And I realized very quickly in my life that I can't. I'm a very bad liar. Very bad liar. I can't lie. I can't live a lie. There are a lot of people out there that live lies. I cannot live a lie. And you have to define yourself, like I said, for yourself. And unfortunately now, and some family have come along and accepted me as I am, including my Egyptian family, and some haven't. What can you do?
Yeah. It's so sad. It's so sad
There's
to
a
hear
famous
these
saying, I
stories.
can't remember, but
But
sometimes you're going to lose family and friends becoming the woman who you are. But if they don't accept you as you are, then they really don't accept you, full stop. So there's no point in having them in your life anyway, and it's hard. It's very hard, and it's sad, and I wish I could please everybody. And I still try to please a lot of people. I try to be a pleaser, but you know, I am a person who likes to people please, but there's a point where I couldn't do it anymore, and unfortunately I've had to. My father and I now have a working relationship, so to say.
that's good. That's, progress.
Functional.
Well, yeah, that's good. Um, I think probably a lot of dancers out there don't realize, and that's why I asked the question, and I think it's important. Number one, to know who you are as a person and what you've gone through. But so many dancers of Manat heritage, like yourself and like myself, have given up a lot, have had to pretend to be other people, have, use a different name, have to hide everything in order to do this dance that they love. And so it's unfortunate, but it makes us also stronger women.
And can you imagine how it annoys me that I have a father who beat me for being a belly dancer, yet somebody will say to me, "Oh, I don't think of you as an Egyptian belly dancer," and you're like, "Wow, come and see my Egyptian family who really, 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 really made me suffer to be this Egyptian belly dancer that you now deny me to be." And just because you think yes, and I do, don't get me wrong, I benefit so much from English and British privilege and being mixed race. I do benefit a lot from that, and I do not deny that. But also, you know what? You cannot deny me my Egyptian heritage, and I've had a lot of stuff that comes with that as well, So, but when somebody says to me, "Oh, you know, Egyptian belly dancer," you're like, "Please tell my dad that, because he definitely thought I was, and he definitely made sure I, got the, the being that I deserve for being an Egyptian belly dancer."
Wow. I I admire you for your strength. And I'm so glad that you are following your passion. And now you're doing all these amazing things. Tell us about some of your projects and things that are happening, and where we can find you and all of those good things.
So, can I just add a little bit to before I say
Oh,
this,
absolutely.
following on this
Absolutely.
conversation, my dad said to me when I had these seizures afterwards, after I followed up with a lot of seizures after this brain damage they gave me. And I told him, I confronted him, he didn't apologize. And he said, it's God punishing you.
Right. Of course.
And I'm at the age now, I'm 33 and I've never been married, etc. And he told, he often reminds me that I will never find a partner because I am a belly dancer and it's punishment. But actually, I'm now engaged. I have, yes, yeah,
No,
I'm
please.
engaged. I have an Egyptian fiance who loves me for who I am, what I am. I also have a very good network of friends and family around me that support me, that make all these projects that I'll talk about in a little while possible. I also have some of my Egyptian family who totally accept me knowing I'm being a belly dancer. I've lost a lot of them, but I still have a lot of them. So that accept me as I am. I have my British family. Some don't accept me and are quite racist, but I have the British family that do accept me and are very open to me. So though I have been through a long jealousy of horribleness, sticking to who I am. And now I have quite good jobs on certain boats. I've built quite a good reputation. Though it's been hard, at the end, you know, staying true to yourself does pay off. And I just want everybody to know that, I was told, you're going to lose all your family. You're never going to find love. You're being punished by this, by God, because, this, etc. You're doing this and, you won't be famous because you're too chubby or your nose is too big or your boobs aren't big enough or this is this. And, blah, 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 blah. But I've managed to find very good work. I'm not the most famous dancer in Egypt, but I'm a very good dancer and I live off my income. I work on very good boats currently. I don't share because nothing in Egypt is guaranteed, but I'm on very good boats at the moment. I have had residencies on boats with my own band. I've done so many amazing gigs in Egypt. It's unbelievable where I've been. I've flown around the world to teach. So, I'm very lucky. And if you stay true to yourself, inshallah, everything will be okay. And stay true to yourself as a dancer. Everything is there for you. How you are enough as you are.
Absolutely. I want to just explain something for our viewers out there, just in case you happen to not know when she says a boat. In Cairo, there are these Nile boats that you go, you have dinner, you watch a show. There's usually live music and a belly dancer. So it's a venue for belly
Yeah.
dancing as well. And so that when she says boats, that's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing your story because a lot of us go through this. And I know, I was told the same thing. You're never going to no one's going to ever marry you because you're a dancer and blah, blah, blah. And even though I only got married a few years ago, I was like, it might be late, but I still, I broke the curse. And I don't know about you, but every once in a while, other dancers of Middle Eastern heritage will contact me and want to talk because they're going through the same thing. And like, my family's disowning me, and I just want to dance because I love dancing, and there's nothing wrong with it, and all of those things. And I think that hearing your story, and I'm hoping that some dancers out there who hear your story are going to be inspired by you because we decide to either fulfill that narrative that our families give us, or we fight against it. And like you said, you're engaged now, mabruk, alf mabruk, and you don't have to buy into that narrative. So
A lot of it's become, as I said, self-accepting, believing I'm enough and believing I'm worthy of it, which is so difficult when you have this outside narrative telling you that you're not, when your father tells you that you deserve to have brain issues because you're a dancer, it's very hard to believe you're worthy of love or that you're worthy of this. But Believe yourself to be worthy of love. Believe you're enough as you are. Believe yourself. And I work on this all the time. I'm not 100%. I still go out on stage with body issues. I'm still very insecure about my leg burns. I'm still this, but I just take a deep breath in and, you know, accept this. This is who I am. It's what I am, you know, etc., etc. It's still every day. It's an everyday process. But yes, believing you're worthy of love.
Absolutely. And if it helps you to know, this is funny to me. You know, as we were approaching this interview, I was, you know, posting a lot on social media so people, you know, would get the information. And so in my stories, I posted a couple of different pictures of you along with the flyer, right?
Yes.
Let me tell you how many messages I got from guys like, "You're so hot. I love you," and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not me. That's Zara. so, so you don't have to worry about it because there's plenty of guys out there. I got all the
Yeah.
messages for you. So it was quite funny.
I'll be like that with my dad. I'll be like, see, Dad, all these people want me.
I don't think that's going to help, but anyway.
No, it won't help, but it's funny.
So we mentioned that one of the things that you're doing are these fabulous online shows in which you are sharing Egyptian artists that we wouldn't normally see in any of the belly dance festivals or any of the other shows. Talk a little bit about that.
So when Corona hit, I lost all my work. I lost the flat that I was living in. I started an online hafla just with my, you know, somebody, my friend Anna, who I host these haflas with and has come from me from the beginning. She gave me a little phone call and she's like, Zara, I have a tea time group. We'd met each other very briefly at a festival in England. You know, she has a little tea time group with her belly dancers. They're not meeting up for classes. They were meeting for just tea time because they can't go to class anymore. And she says, can you come and maybe give us a talk? I can give you £20. And yeah, it was just something small like that. And I said, okay. And we had such a blast. And I was so depressed. And we had such a blast. And it really boosted me to be back in contact with the belly dance community. Anyway, I said to her, look, I've had to cancel a few things that I had planned in England. Can we maybe try and do them online together? Because I saw that you've set this up. Let's do it. And she goes, okay. And we started with just doing a bit of hafla. And it was to try and, you know, first off, it was just something to make me less depressed. I was so depressed, but actually having something to do, having something to plan, etc., psychologically really supported me. And it brought in a little bit of money. As they grew, at the beginning, I would just get a few foreign dancers to come and dance, etc. But as it grew, I realized, well, I have loads of friends, all the people that I used to work on the boats with, they're unemployed. Why don't I get them to come? The tenora that used to work on the boat with me is unemployed. My band is unemployed that I used to work with on my boats. Why not try and get them involved as well? And it was a massive hit. And then it started to really, really build. And then I realized, you know, one of my biggest things I've come here, so I have the privilege of being a foreign belly dancer as well as an Egyptian belly dancer, and I can see the market from a foreign belly dancer's perspective and an Egyptian's belly dancer's perspective. I am both at the same time. A lot of people try to put me in a box, but I'm not fully Egyptian belly dancer. I'm not fully a foreign belly dancer. I benefit from foreign privilege in some ways, and I also benefit from Egyptian privilege, but I also, on the other hand, suffer from both of the problems. But I did realize that I feel that foreign belly dancers are dominating the Cairo market right now. And as an Egyptian belly dancer, who's also a foreign belly dancer, I didn't particularly, you know, people are like, you're a foreign belly dancer, oh, we can get you a gig. And I'm a bit like, well, actually, I'm an Egyptian. How must this feel to an Egyptian? I'm realizing that actually there's a lot of foreigners dominating the market in Egypt, which frustrated me. And there's lots of things such as, and it doesn't just come in the market of Egypt, it goes deeper into the belly dance festivals all the people at the top of belly dance festivals are the same Egyptian belly dancers that have been there forever. There's no new blood, there's no new this. And I realized these Egyptian belly dancers are just being, and they want the foreign names in the festivals, they want the foreign names in the gigs. And it really frustrated me as an Egyptian belly dancer. And I thought, well, I built this platform helping out my Egyptian friends. And then I thought, well, as my platforms got bigger and bigger, why don't I start to make the changes that I want to see in the community?
Yeah.
So at the beginning, it just started as something to help a little bit community between me and the British girls that I, knew already. As it got bigger, I used it to help out people that were suffering as well as me, just my mates. As it's got even bigger, I've used it to help even more people. But as it's got even bigger, I've used it to try and make changes that I want to see in the belly dance community. What do I want to see in the belly dance community? I want to see Egyptian belly dancers. I want to see new generation Egyptian belly dancers. I want to see Egyptian belly dancers being given the platforms and the accessibility that foreign belly dancers are getting. I want to see Egyptian belly dancers, even if it means competition towards myself. I don't even care if they become more famous than me. I want to see that change in our belly dance community. I'm sick of, I love foreign belly dancers, and I myself am partly a foreign belly dancer. And on an individual level, they're great friends and they've given me so much support and they meet up. But I'm sick of the biggest people in belly dance being foreign belly dancers, and also in festivals, these top belly dancers not allowing any more Egyptian excitement or new or supporting Egyptian belly dancers. We should all be supporting Egyptian belly dancers because they are fast becoming pushed out of the market, and they have a lot of, and it just frustrates me and upsets me because they are so talented, they're so beautiful, there's so many of them. And because of a lot of foreign belly dance privilege, which I can list, and I have a talk on, I did a talk and you can still buy it now. It goes towards charity, the profits go towards charity, which is Egyptian belly dancers are disappearing acts. And I did talk all about this and what privileges do foreign belly dancers have on Egyptian belly dancers. And why is that benefiting them in the market right now, even within Egypt?
Yeah.
And that's sad that it's within Egypt. Foreign belly dancers outside of Egypt, doesn't matter. But when they're dominating the top gigs, they're dominating top festivals, they're dominating the top work in Egypt, that's sad and scary.
Scary for sure. Absolutely.
Scary. I'm sorry to any foreign belly dancer that might watch this that is in Egypt and works here. I love you. You're probably my mate, and I meet up with you and whatever, and you give me loads of support. But let's just be honest, girl. It's sad. You shouldn't really, it's sad. And you can even include me in this. I understand my own benefits. A lot of foreign belly dancers are here fulfilling fantasies that they can become famous in Egypt, have their own band, have their own this. And on a personal level, I can empathize with all of that. They're here fulfilling fantasies. And they're probably building a big name. Oh, blah, blah, blah. She works in Egypt. And this even includes myself. Oh, she has a band in Egypt. She's this. She must be an amazing dancer. I'll take classes with her. Blah, 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 blah. And they come here. They become very famous. They can trend on Facebook. They can become the biggest wedding dancer. All because they have whiter skin or because they're foreign or this. And they're fulfilling fantasies. They're thinking on a very individual level, and I understand it. I can empathize it. Some of my dreams when I started to get gigs in Egypt, I did think about Egyptian belly dancers. I thought about my own fantasies. Oh, I get to be a belly dancer in Egypt.
Yeah.
I understand this. But you're here fulfilling fantasies, not realizing the consequences of your actions on your art in the long term. Yes, there might be a market for foreign belly dancers and they want a foreign belly dancer. Yeah, but is that right that they want a foreign belly dancer? Or is that internalized racism from Egyptians themselves?
Well,
Yeah. And, to shrug your shoulders and say it's not your problem. I'm here, I benefit from foreign belly dancer things, privilege as well as Egyptians, but how can I foreign belly dancer privilege in my position or my voice or the fact that I can speak perfect English to help other Egyptian belly dancers?
Yeah, and it's that balance. I mean, that things are out of balance. There's been foreign dancers in Egypt for a while now, a long time, but the balance it's out of balance. It's all international dancers and very few Egyptian dancers that are getting that opportunity. And you make some really, really important points. And I think that that idea of giving back, right? And, this whole idea of cultural appropriation is a big topic in our dance world, right? Cultural appropriation. And, yeah, live your dream, go to Cairo, be the dancer, and do all those things. But what are you giving back to the culture? What are you giving back to the dance form? Because if you're just going and taking, that's a problem. No one is saying you can't be a dancer or you shouldn't, only dancers in Egypt should be dancers. No, like it's reciprocal. You take and you give back. Do you know what I mean? And you're doing an amazing job of that. And I'm really inspired by you. So thank you for all that you do. So one of the many projects is your online shows. Hafla is a party, right? Online Hafla. And I think the last one was 4 hours long, which is
It was longer than 4 hours. It was with the disco. Wait, I'm just going to turn my fan
go ahead.
off.
Which is very like typical Middle Eastern type of a party
Yes.
on Zoom, 4 hours long. So I love it. You're
It went
spending
on for nearly 5. It went on for a long time. Yeah, they usually go on because we have the party afterwards. So they go on for
love
a
it.
long time. You get your money's worth it that way. You usually have to go back. Most people don't make it to the end. Although saying that, we had like, it was like 1, 2 a.m. here, and we had 40 people still in the disco, and I had to just say stop because I was exhausted. Because I start these like, I start this hafla about 3 hours before everybody else because I have to start set up of the house, set up of this. Guests are coming, cleaning, getting, go to the bank so I can get the cash out and pay them all on a day. And stuff. I have a lot to do beforehand. So I just had to chuck them out at the end. But no, we had up to 40 people stay at least nearly an hour and a half after the last act.
That's I love it. I love it. I wish I could be there with you.
Yeah.
You also have Zamina Magazine, which is an online magazine, correct?
I'm very, very lucky. I have an online belly dance magazine, which I have been doing now for several years, like I don't even know how many years, but we've had over 100 editions. And I feel very proud. Actually, Zamina is one of my proudest contributions to the belly dance community. I feel so proud about it. We have over 100 issues, and if you go back and read all the issues, I think it's one of the best belly dance assets, or I don't know what the word is, something that belly dancers can use. I think it's a really, really, really good
resource. It's a resource.
Resource, that's the word. I think it's a very, very, very good belly dance resource. In there, I write every month something called Music Corner, which is so basically with the online Hafla, I want to see what change in the world. I want to see more Egyptian belly dancers. So I've used that platform there. Another thing that I wanted to see is I wanted to see more of a connection between foreign belly dancers or people in hobbyists and the Egyptian culture. And that also comes through the Haflas. I want more connection, seeing Egyptians, more connection. I also wanted more dancers to start using Egyptian music or Arabic music, not belly dancing to Britney Spears, and I saw this big issue. So I started this in the magazine. I use it as a platform to host lots of dancers. They do interviews, things. It's really community based. But also I do my music corner in there, which is a way of which I pick them up to date music about what's coming out of Egypt, and I write stories about it. I talk a lot about Mahraganat music, where it comes from, what the kids are talking about, why they talk about it, why is this music trending, where's this thing? It's like celebrity gossip, and it was an attempt to try and get, and I'm really proud of it actually. If you read them all, you learn a lot about Egyptian culture, and it's about bringing people in and understanding Egyptian culture and making that barrier between Egyptian culture and belly dancers less. So if Zamina has that, and it's also a great platform that I use to help promote lots of dancers. It's free magazine. I have over 2,000 subscribers, which I'm really proud about. And yeah, it actually just started. I have an online belly dance shop, which my mum now runs and is financial support for my mother. And yes, so I have my online belly dance shop. I told you I grew up quite poor, and I met a lot of entrepreneurs when I was at Oxford University, and I met a lot of rich people. And I decided that I do not want me and my mum to be poor for the rest of our lives. So university taught me a lot. And I've made this business called Zara Zouk as a result. And my mum now runs it, and it financially supports her. So, it's done its job, which is to make us financially freedom from work, is to have our own business. So this is what I learned when I was at Oxford, and meeting all these rich entrepreneurs and very rich people, and how independent they were from. And it started as a newsletter just for my shop, Zara Zouk. But I realized, as an initiative to open the newsletter, you need to give the reader something. And then it just boomed into this massive magazine. And now I have like 2 to 4 articles every magazine. And it's been an amazing resource. And please do check it out and subscribe to it. It's a really amazing resource. And I'm writing it every single month. I write the Music Corner, which I think is a brilliant resource for dancers for new music and understanding Egyptian culture, and learning and staying up to date, because God, if you're not dancing to Britney Spears, then you're still dancing to Nancy Agra's first 2 singles. And that frustrates me. It frustrates me that a lot of,
Yeah. And I want to say this. Let me interject. I'm so sorry. One of the things that I love about you, and that I think no one else does, is that you are that link to the young, like hip Egyptian culture. Like, we all love the classics. We love Kulthum. We're gonna dance to those classics forever. But it's also good to know, like, what is really going on in Egyptian culture right now in society. And you're the one that is bringing that, together for dancers.
thank you. And it frustrates me because do you know what? When I have my band will dance, my favorite singer, even now to belly dance to, is Abdul Halim Hafiz. And I've done workshops on Abdul Halim Hafiz, and he's a classic. And I love him. If you do my work, if you can buy my workshop on Abdul Halim Hafiz, you will see how much passion I talk about this guy.
Yeah.
He's an old classic, and I love a costume, and I love Golden Bay dances, one of my favorite dances of all time. Zaki Negro Ed and Hair Carioca. Oh my God. Love, 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 love. But, and I think this is really good, but and this is what happens a lot in the dance community, if your studying of belly dance ends at the golden era, what you're doing is it's talking about fantasies again. You're crushing Egyptians into your fantasies. You are not embracing what Egyptian belly dance is. And Egyptian belly dance is a dance that through thousands of years has moved and molded and changed and adapted and tastes and takes on everything of what Egyptians. You are taking the bits that you want from an art, and you're making it into your fantasy again. And Egyptians are not here to be your fantasy. I'm sorry, but Egyptian belly dance right now is not and it has an amazing thing. And I'm not saying it's gone down in standard. It's just different now. It's not this. And stop trying to crush us Egyptians into your fantasy.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Because it's like the dancers who are like the ancient Egyptians. It's like, well,
and you get the same with Pharaonic, the Pharaonic age, and it's like they want to just crush us into, no, Egyptians are Pharaonic people. They are the golden era. They are all this. This runs through my blood. It runs through the blood of all Egyptians, but it's also today. It's also the now. And what's so amazing about Egyptians is just how music and fresh and they are. And if you come to Egypt, all the old people know all the new songs. I don't know any old people in England that know the new music from England. Egyptians never get stuck in this. Egyptians are very, in the moment, living and appreciating past as well. All kids in Egypt know who Kulthum is, but they all know who all the new people are as well. They all know the old belly dancers. Every Egyptian child has watched Seher Zaki and they know who she is, but they also know who all the modern belly dancers are.
And it's both sides, right? Like, I'm on the other end of the spectrum from you. I'm older, I've been dancing forever, and like, I'm not gonna dance the new style. I'm not gonna dance to Mahragan music. I like it. I might go to a party and dance socially and enjoy myself. But I know who I am as a dancer, and that's not me as a professional performance. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that as a dancer, we don't learn and study and understand the new and the old. And then you choose who do you want to be and what do you want to perform. It's two different things. So
as I said, and if I'm dancing, and even somebody like me, if I'm dancing on a boat and I have my full band, I would not do Mahragan. I'll probably do some Shabi, old school Shabi, Ahmed Adawaya. But I would not go into full Mahraganat music for certain, But if I'm dancing in a wedding and it's free dancing and it's this, then I'll pick Mahraganat. I choose accordingly. And I study all classics and I know Kulthum, I know everything, but I am in the moment. And also, not just Mahraganat music, modern styles of belly dance, modern styles of belly dancers. I'm sorry, but if you're only like this dancer and you're only studying this dancer from back in the old age, as I said, you're just building a fantasy and picking and choosing what you like from a culture to fulfill your own wants. And you're not going if you want to learn Egyptian dance, then stop being snobby about it. Come and learn Egyptian dance and the reality that lies behind Egyptian dance all the way through the centuries as well. I don't like snobbery. You will never fully embrace anything if you're like this. If you're like this, what we say. If you're like not fully breathing culture until So yeah.
So true. Fully breathing culture. I love that. So I'm gonna just say this because Zara is doing so many things that you really need to go to her website, and we'll post the link with the video so you can see all, like, I mean, the workshops and all kinds of great stuff happening. So check it out and support her. And how wonderful that belly dance is not only supporting you as an artist, also supporting your mother and providing income from her. That's awesome. What is the thing that fulfills you the most?
What fulfills me the most?
And I just, that
in dance.
In dance in general.
Yeah, what
like,
fulfills me?
What project, what?
Nothing fulfills me more. I do a lot of projects. I have my YouTube channel. We haven't even talked about that. I have my magazine. I have my online haflas, and I do my articles. I also write for I write for physical magazines every quarterly. So I do a lot of writing for the belly dance community as well. I teach workshops, but I tell you something, none of this fulfills me anywhere near as much as just being on
stage. You cut out. What did you say? Fulfills
Nothing, none of these projects are anything or fulfill me at all compared to being on the stage. And that's the truth. My heart, I don't know how I end up doing all this belly dance stuff because basically, I just love being on the stage. If you ever come and see me live, I never film my videos project really how I am in real life. Yeah. And I love doing all these belly dance projects, and I don't want to talk down about my belly dance projects. And I love them and I value them and I feel they're giving back and they, a lot of principles behind them. But God, they mean nothing. I'd rather just be on the stage. I love being on the stage. I love performing. I love the audience. I love the buzz. If there's live music, I love the live music.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel full, or I feel truly alive when I'm on the stage. That's when I feel I am me. Not me, Zara dance, not me, Zara this, just me. That's when I feel like I am me, is when I'm on the stage. That's the honest truth.
Bravo. I love that. And I can totally relate.
Yeah.
What do you have on the horizon? Do you have any other projects that you're thinking about or you're that you want to talk about?
I'm just going to keep continuing to do the online haftas. I know the world's opening up a bit, but please do keep coming, because I feel these haftas have become a lot more than just a lockdown thing. I really feel the principle behind the haftas, new artists, seeing young artists, identifying Egyptian dancers, seeing what happens in Egypt, connecting between Egyptians. So I really encourage people to try and book tickets to those. Even if you don't come, you get recordings to book ticket and come and see these shows. Please subscribe to Zamina. That's always something that's ongoing. An amazing resource. Even if I say so myself. I'm going to try. I've taken a little bit of a break from my YouTube channel. I'm going to start that up again. I have a bay dance, online bay dance classes which I teach in Arabic. I've unfortunately had to take a little bit of time off because they take a lot of effort to make videos. But I'm going to be redoing that, and that's a resource for Arab women or Arab girls, especially Egyptian girls, to try and boost them, try and encourage the next generation of bay dancers to come out and dance. So I'll be boosting that, and even if you don't speak Arabic, please do. They have English subtitles. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Watch the videos, because the more views it gets, the more YouTube shares it to other people. So always please support it. And they're very good bay dance classes, even if you read the subtitles. And it helps you learn Arabic. So please do that. So please support me in that. And I don't know, when the world opens up, I would love to be hosted by some people. So if any of you have festivals out there, I'd love to go do a bit of that. That would be really lovely for me, and just support me as a dancer in any way you can. So that's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you here in the LA area. We'll have to make something happen.
Oh, I would love to. I've never been to America to do any dance. I've traveled a lot around Europe. I've done workshops around Europe. I've done workshops a lot around Africa, but I've never been to America to do anything belly dance.
That's going to change very soon, I'm sure.
It would be
And
great.
I think it's important to say too, like your videos of you teaching belly dancing in Arabic, I don't think there are any other instructional belly dance videos in Arabic.
Very few. The reason I did it was because the amount of resources, I was talking about how foreign belly dancers have added privilege or added, I feel like the markets, one of the things is all the resources that foreign dancers have to learn belly dance. Now, truth be told, most Egyptian girls don't need to know how to do belly dance. They're just natural.
Yeah.
But there is a slight difference between belly dance you do in the house and belly dance you do on stage, and the training and the discipline and trying to know what you just know naturally and realize what you know naturally. Egyptian girls don't need to be taught to belly dance, especially by me. Most of them dance better than me. What I like to think is it's a boost. It's something they feel they can study. It's something they feel that they can use. It's something they can realize they can put structure to, make a show out of, build a program on, something like this. So, there's hundreds of belly dance classes online in English. Why is there not in Arabic? And I would love more Egyptians and other Arabs to start teaching belly dance online, because, foreign belly dancers have so much support online, all free, all these free classes on YouTube, all this, and Egyptians don't. And Arab women, not just Egyptians, Arab women don't. So I try to fulfill that hole. And, why am I giving all my teaching talent to foreign belly dancers when I can also help Egyptians and Arabs and, give them a feel that they're learning something. So yes, that's why I did it.
It's brilliant. And then again, a good way to practice your Arabic, right? I'm going to do that because, my Arabic is shway. It's like really bad.
So was mine. You have to move out here and Stick it
You
out.
know, when I go, the times I've been in Egypt, I pick it up fast and I speak enough to get around. And then I come back and it's like, we lose it.
Still goes.
Yeah.
Totally understand.
And we're totally like on Arabic Egyptian time. It's like more than an hour. We're coming up on an hour and a half. And so I want to approach the end, but I want to ask you, what is it that you want people to understand about Zara,
About me?
about you in the end? If they're like, who is Zara? What is it you want people to remember you for?
Oh God. Remember me for, know me for. Very difficult question. That's a very, very, very difficult question, Roxanne.
That's okay. You don't
Um,
answer if you don't want.
what do I just ask me the question one more time.
What I guess if someone who didn't know anything about you and you were to say Zara is what or who?
I would like people to. Zara is an Egyptian belly dancer. I really, even though I should seek proof for myself, being mixed race has always been very difficult to be accepted as Egyptian, which is why I brought myself here and immersed myself in my culture. So Zara is an Egyptian belly dancer who is full of passion, fun, and great person to watch belly dance. That's all I would love. That
Wow.
that's what I would really love them to do. Somebody who's passionate, dances with passion, dances with her heart, and also does all of her projects
With your heart,
which is
absolutely.
genuinely what I do. I just,
And it shows. It really does show. Is there anything that I didn't ask you or anything that you want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
no, I feel like it's been an amazing journey, an hour and a half amazing journey. Thank you so much, Roxanne. You've let me chat on loads. I'm sorry about my internet. I apologize about that. Please do support my events, check out my websites. I've talked about all of them. My shop, my online websites, my online YouTube channel, my Zamina, my Haflas. Just support it all as much as you can, please.
Zara is taking over the world. I love it. And again, I'll post the link to your website. You can find her on all the social media platforms.
Yeah.
And you're really doing important work. And I have to tell you how much I appreciate you and what you're doing. And I'm a big fan and a big supporter. So anything I can do, you let me know. And thank you guys who are watching now and who will continue to watch. Please feel free to share and spread the love. I want to make sure that we're not missing any questions. We have some comments here. And thank you guys for your support and for the lovely comments in the chat. I know Zara will take a look at them later as well. And maybe we'll have to do this again. I think there's probably more that we could talk about, right?
Yes. If anybody wants to send you any questions, I'm very happy to answer them in the future.
Absolutely. We'll have a part 2 of Roxxanne and Zara.
Very, very.
Thank you so much. Shukran Awi. Enjoy Cairo for me a little bit. It's time for me to go back. It's been
Roxanne, I'm waiting for you, girl.
Yeah, I'm coming sometime soon.
Yalla bye.
And take care and stay safe, most importantly. And thank you for your time and thank you for your wonderful heart. And keep up the wonderful work you're doing.
And thank you for your work that you do, Roxanne.
Thank you. We're a great team.
Yes.
So keep watching, everybody. Share the love and keep Live with Roxxanne out there so we can support our dancers of Manat heritage. Thank you all. Have a great night. And see you soon. Yalla bye. Masalama. I forgot how to end it. Oh, I know. Hold on a second. You see?